Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Matt, and it is Terrible Tuesday. I hope each and every one of you are having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that jazz. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I'm seeing some new faces around, which I love seeing, y'all. I'm always open to some recommendations. Sometimes it'll take me a week or two to get to it, depending on if I own a copy, if it's available, if it's like super out of print and it costs like some crazy money to get it. I'm sorry, I can't do that unless I already have it. Otherwise, I can't really afford going out and paying like $100 for films so I can review them for some of you people. No, I'm kidding with all of you people. I love all your faces. I am, just do keep that in mind, guys, because I am always open for recommendations. Now, this one today, I was not recommended. It was something I saw, I guess, on an online recommendation on Amazon. They kept recommending it to me out of stuff that I'd purchased. Excuse me, it looked very interesting. It's got some fun artwork, or at least the cover artwork is kind of fun. It spoke to me and said, "Hey, watch me," one of those kind of deals. Now, this one's from 2007, and my copies were in about an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know if there's any other cuts of this film. If there is, please let me know if you got any of you know out there, because I'd like to see a longer cut of this one. Because, well, yes and no. I want to see a gorier cut. Let me say that, not a longer cut, because this movie. Now I'm gonna murder all these names, and I am so sorry if any of it offends you. Please don't burn me at the stake for this one. So we got Dong-Hun, we got Il-ha, we got Sun-Yeol Kim, Taek-su Kim, Myung-hun Lee. That was bad for me to say. Myung-hun Seo, and this is directed by Jin-won. And that is none other than 2007's The Butcher. Yes, this is the Tartan Extreme. The Palisades Tartan Extreme Asian stuff. They have a whole Asian line of extreme films. There are some good ones in there. I do have a few of them. They've also released a few other films besides foreign films that are pretty good on that extreme label, because they do have other films. They just dropped it. They just take the Asia part out of it, and it's most extreme label. They got some interesting stuff. This one, I don't know how I feel about this one. Actually, I do. I'll tell you guys how I feel about it at the end, as always. Now, what is this one about? This one is, first off, first I forgot to show you guys the release here. It's got a neat, nifty little insert in there for you. Some cool artwork there. Some okay stuff, it makes it look very, very bloody and gnarly. And let's see, we do have a few special features here for you guys. There you go, so you can take a gander at that. I guess it has alternate ending, which I never watched the alternate ending for this one. Yeah, I didn't watch the alternate ending. No excuses. Actually, I do have an excuse. This movie is what it is, and it's about, basically, it's all shot POV style, which I'm okay with. It gets a little too much in places, because it jumps around a lot, and it can really make you kind of nauseous feeling, because you can't really get a good picture of what's going on in front of you, it's very blurry and very shaky, and so that kind of, it suffers a little bit from that. And what is it about? Basically, it's about this couple who are abducted, and it starts off right away. They're in this room. It doesn't show anything else beforehand. It doesn't show any kind of backstory or anything like that. This is just a straightforward go at you film. Now, there, which that's one thing I feel it kind of also suffered on, is there's no backstory. It makes it a little harder to sympathize and want to actually see these people make it out alive. One of those deals. So you're kind of like have this void of that. And it's just so hard to feel any kind of empathy for them. And the characters they pick, there's very little dialogue from the victims itself. It's a lot of screaming. It gets to the point to where it is annoying, and it will constantly get at you. It's a never ending cycle on this one. So they're abducted. They're treated with this dude. They're like greeted, I should say, greeted from this dude that is calling them all kinds of horrible names. Pretty lame, whatever. The guy is talking trash while he's in the meantime goes back and forth from this other room, which you can't see what's going on, but you hear what's going on. And there is clearly somebody with, you hear a chainsaw going, and you hear a lot of screams, and you hear some very visceral, gnarly sounds going on in the background. Stuff you never get to see what's going on back there. So it's hard to really get the full gist or to be able to even get pulled into the story a little more, because it wants to be disturbing, it wants to be brutal, but it fails, and it makes me sad to say that, because I went into this with such high expectations. Actually, no, I did. I went in with mediocre expectations. I was really hoping, there was a lot of hope for this one. Let's just say that. Now, you hear this chainsaw and this dude going at him. And meanwhile, all you get to see is shaky cam screaming from these two that have been abducted. That's all I can really say about it, is what it is for a story, because there's no story whatsoever. It's just a straightforward, they come out after being in that room, and they move on to torturing these other two. Is the torture very good? Not really. There's one part of it where I was just like, holy crap, that's kind of messed up. And it caught me out of nowhere, that part of it. But it didn't disturb me to the point to where I was wanting to either like yell like yes or cringe, because it was just kind of mediocre. I've seen stuff like that before. It just can't. The way they delivered it was just kind of like out of left field, and you didn't see it coming. It was the only part where I felt bad for the guy, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But at one point you get to see something that involves a hand. I didn't quite understand how somebody could have survived after this happened to them, because it is a very uh, serious wound that happens to the hand, and you would bleed out because there's a lot of arteries that come down through there, and you would bleed out in a matter of minutes. And that, I honestly, that's how I would guess. I'm no criminal or doctor or pathologist or anything like that, can tell you what happens with the body like that. I have taken anatomy classes, and from what I know from there, you will die. It may take a little longer, but you will die. The guy kind of wraps something around it at some point. Still, I'm in disbelief. One thing that made me giggle throughout the whole movie was they had plastic tarp on the ground, and it was just, it was covered in blood. Okay, whatever. You look everywhere else around the room, the ceiling, the walls, like everything is covered in blood. Why the hell are you worried about if you destroy the fucking the concrete down below, the flooring? Why? That makes no freaking sense. Like, when I saw that, I kind of I wanted to turn it off. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to turn this movie off so many times. It was so bad. This is like one of the biggest pieces of crap I've seen in a while. The last one I saw, well, I did watch another one this weekend that was god awful, and I won't review it though, because I don't really like doing wannabe shockumentary type films like this. It doesn't, as that one, it doesn't deserve the recognition of being a film. That's how bad that one was. This one is pretty close to that bad. It's worth me reviewing for you guys for Terrible Tuesday, because it is a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. As far as a technical rating, I'm only going to give it a freaking 1. It's terrible. There's gaping plot holes. You don't have, like I said, there's zero backstory. You know nothing of these people that are doing the crimes as well. Like this dude here with the pig mask, he's a very cool character, but there's not enough of him to make it worthwhile. If he's the butcher, he is the most laziest, broodingest butcher that's ever existed, because that's all he did was like walk around and brood. That's just what he did. And he did some things, but it wasn't enough for me to really mention it and say, hey, you know what, you might want to pay attention for this, or this. Not in this case. It's bad. As far as an entertainment side goes, it's getting a 1. This thing's getting a 2 overall. 2 out of 10. That's how much I liked this movie. I hated it. I never wish to watch it again. I feel like Siskel and Ebert right now. I'm destroying this film because I hate it so much. I just want to throw it out the window. I want to punch everybody that was involved with it. I want to, including the director and both of the main actors. I want to kick them both right in the nuts. That's how much I don't care about this movie, and how I will more than likely never, ever, ever watch it ever again. It's just how I feel about it. And this is what I'm going to do. That's how I feel about that fucking piece of shit. And then meanwhile, they're trying to make a snuff film. Whatever. Alright guys, I love your faces. I'm going to get the hell out of here. It's 14 and a half minutes. I'm talking about a really bad movie, and I should have just cut it off at 10 minutes. Should have just cut it off at 8. Alright guys.